So let's jump into yet again another Transformer Slag Patreon listener question. Once again, if you want to be part of the Transformer Slag Patreon, help support the podcast and let us know that we're doing a half-decent job here in the daily news of Transformers. Patreon.com/Protoman, or check the pinned comment or the description below. Get your name in the end credit scroll at the end of every segment moving forward. Get access to our amazing Transformer Slag Discord, where we're recently posted a whole bunch of new lore stuff that you can enjoy from the deep, dark riches of Transformers' history that is very tough to find if you look for it. And of course, you know, depending on how high a tier you are, you might even get a little gift box in the mail, and something I've been working on for the past 6 months that the Big V has slowed down in a lot of ways. But either way, if you want to join the Patreon, again, patreon.com/Protoman. And we got a Patreon listener question from one of our Primus tier backers that'll probably be getting one of those little gifts in the mail, and it's Space Ghostal. Space Ghostal's been with us for a long time, and he wants to know, hey Protoman, in honor of the 35th anniversary of the Transformers movie, can you talk about the original script written by Ron Freeman? What were the differences between The Secrets of Cybertron and the final cut of the film? Thanks for everything you do. So there's a little bit of a misconception there. I got to talk with Ron Freeman a few times in person, primarily because of a very expensive transaction that I had between him and I many years ago. When the Transformer Bay movies first started getting momentum, Ron was like, oh, hey, those Transformer things that I haven't thought about for 25 years. I think I have some of those in my garage. So he went into his garage and he found a whole bunch of animation cells from the '86 movie. And he went to TFW 2005 to see if anyone was interested. And the big ups at TFW 2005 were like, hey, these hot rod cells, you should probably talk to this guy. And you know who that guy was. And so me and Ron came into contact with each other, and we worked something out, and he wrote me a handwritten letter, sent me a picture of him with Stan Lee, who's supposedly his best buddy in the world. And that was that. And then we met in person, face-to-face, at TFCon LA, and we talked about that, so we finally were able to, you know, talk about everything and stuff. And his involvement in that original first, like, I guess we'll call it proposed draft, if you will, he wasn't involved in that. He was doing more G.I. Joe stuff and other things. It was actually fellow G.I. Joe constituent Flint Dilley and Jay Bacall, I think, was involved too. And they had this first proposed script that supposedly Hasbro thought was dumb. They didn't like what was written in it. They didn't feel it fit what the story was they were trying to tell, and pretty much said, we need another one. And then Ron came in and kind of cleaned up a little, actually a lot of what Flint Dilley did, and it became a lot more similar to what we know that is the movie today. If you want to get kind of an idea of some of the stuff that was different from, let's say, the final product, there was the Transformers Marvel Comics adaptation of the '86 movie, which has a lot of those little beats and everything that were in the original script that got taken out. Some stuff as much as the Matrix being just a crystal, which you could even see in a split-second piece of animation when Optimus removes the Matrix from his chest. He just removes the crystal. He doesn't remove the entire, I guess, Matrix of Leadership piece. To stuff like the death of Ultra Magnus, and, you know, why when Slag was going to step on a bunch of spikes when he was on the planet of Quintesson before he got knocked over, there was a whole bunch of, like, the Sharkticons and the Quintessons trying to make him go through a whole bunch of traps, whole bunch of little sequences that just got cut from the movie, but you could see the little pieces of it. So what we have here, essentially, is The Secret of Cybertron script, which is that very first script that we have very little information on. And then we got Ron's first, I guess, second draft that cleaned everything up, that then evolved into what would be the '86 movie. Now, Flint Dille has done many interviews since then, and Ron wrote some information about it in his book, I Killed Optimus Prime. Literally, that's the name of his book, which I think you're able to pick it up on Amazon. I know when he does cons, he always brings a whole bunch of them, and he could sign them and stuff. I have a copy of it. Pretty good book, actually. You could read it in an afternoon. It's a really good one. But according to what Flint said, a lot of the stuff from the Secrets of Cybertron, he kind of doesn't remember 100% because it was a proposal, didn't happen. He doesn't know where the script is. He thinks it could be somewhere in his house. He just doesn't know. And then it just kind of got filed away in the back of his brain. And then years later, Transformers becomes a nostalgic thing. And now he has to remember everything. All he really does remember, now revisiting the 86 movie multiple times in the past, decade and so, he does remember that it was going to be about the origin of Cybertron, the concept of the Quintessons being a thing in the 86 movie evolved from this script. Essentially, he created the Quintessons to be the creators of the Transformers, but through the evolution of the script with Ron Freeman and everything, led to them just having the role they did in the 86 movie and not much beyond that. Unicron was a thing from the beginning in that script, and he was going to have some kind of connection to the origin of the Transformers long before, oddly enough, again, this is all according to Flint Dille. I don't know if this is factual or not, but long before Simon Furman made a connection between Cybertron's origin and Unicron. And then there was this whole thing about, Optimus there's so many similarities when you look at it now to some of the Marvel comic book stuff where it's like it's Optimus. He's going to the center of Cybertron to find out about the origin of the Transformers, and he learns about the origin of the Transformers and how they were created by the Quintessons, and that the Matrix of Leadership was this like bomb weapon that was created by the Quintessons to use against Unicron. And that's why the Matrix has that very neutron bomb kind of design that Fluro Diri would end up doing. And then supposedly that they find out that Cybertron used to be a giant robot that could transform but is now inactive, and Unicron is coming, and that Primus and Cybertron, Primus, aka Cybertron, and Unicron are these have this brotherly connection or something, and Optimus is going to use the Matrix to be able to merge with Cybertron, which will then transform into a giant robot to fight Unicron. And there was all these ideas. And again, you could say, well, then some of these ideas found their way into in future Transformer stuff. Unicron and Primus being a thing, obviously with the Marvel comic books and stuff with Simon Furman's writing. The Quintesson origin story, obviously told within 5 Faces of Darkness, the first 5 episodes of Season 3 of Transformers that came out after the 86 movie was said and done. The idea of Cybertron transforming. That's something that we would have years and years later. The idea was first penned unofficially was during the Dreamwave days when you had Simon Furman working with Dreamwave and the whole War Within, and Pat Lee with his ongoing stories, and then they did the DK official Transformer guidebook, which had that transformed Cybertron Primus look to it, the first version of that, and then of course Galaxy Force and Cybertron, the TV series, and Aaron Archer's pitch to kind of do a transforming Cybertron toy to be a big Christmas product, a Supreme class product for that. It's there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff here that, found its way in one way or another, but it's a shame because the whole script itself just never found its way to the surface of this world that we could kindly read piece by piece. And then, of course, like I said, later on, we would get different scripts that were done by Ron, which more are inclined to what the 86 movie is ultimately in the end. And if you want to get a piece of that and see how really that was, I do suggest reading the Marvel comic books adaptation of the 86 movie. I believe it was 3 issues. Yeah, it was 3 issues instead of 4 for their miniseries normally. And I mean, like, there's even stuff in there like, hey, did you know Hot Rod actually didn't get involved with the fight between Optimus and Megatron? And it didn't matter if Optimus and Megatron fought and Hot Rod didn't get involved, Optimus would still get killed because he wouldn't pull the trigger on Megatron. So, you know, there's a lot of like almost Marvel what if kind of stuff too, which is kind of cool about it. I guess Hot Rod didn't kill Optimus. Although there's other theories that I could have too. Also, there's a lot of fun that you could have with that. But there's a lot of stuff that's still unknown, and it's a shame because Joe Bacall and Tom Griffin, they don't have the script and they've been very quiet about it. And Flint Dille has vague memories of it, and those vague memories, I almost feel like those vague memories are just more from him revisiting the 86 movie and other Transformer product and maybe that stirring his mind and going, did I think that up, or was that something that I ended up repurposing into my mind thinking that was what the script was. There's, again, there was interviews, there's Ron's book, and all of it kind of has to be hodgepodge together to really see what happened in the end. But it is what it is, and we got what we got in the end, which, in my opinion, Hasbro at the time when they were releasing it felt was a proper rendition of what they wanted for the brand. I can't argue it. I love the 86 movie to death. I feel that it has that right amount of darkness and edge to it that's so different from anything that existed from Transformers in the 80s at the time, that really helped someone like me who at the time when I was peddling Transformers in the 90s, everyone's like, whoa, why is Proto Man, why is Daniel so into Transformers? And I was like, hey man, like, you want to know why I love Transformers? And I'd show them the 86 movie. I wouldn't show them season 1, season 2, or season 3, because then that might have a negative effect, but I'd show them the movie. And then a lot of them really liked what they saw. So whatever, Ron and ultimately in the end Flint and everyone put together, it was a great product. And this question falls the day after the 86 movie was being shown in all the theaters across AMC in the United States and one location in Canada, unfortunately. So anyone who got to see it, congratulations to see it on the big screen for the first time, or in my case, the third time. By the way, my Twitter post about seeing the Rock Lords, that was a joke, guys. Some people, I thought my photoshopping was pretty bad, but I guess people still thought it was legit. No one's showing the Rock Lords movies in theaters. The GoBots Rock. Although it was pretty fun movie, that original movie. Has its advantages. Anyways, hope that answers your question, Space Ghostal. I know there's just not enough information out there. And it's something that I feel, still to this day, we're always discovering new things about the brand that are 25, 35, soon to be 40 years old. And I hopefully one day the secrets of Cybertron, or the secret of Cybertron, depending on who you ask, will surface, and then maybe we'll get a better idea. But at the end of the day, supposedly, again, according to Flint, the little pieces of that script found its way in different shapes or forms for the future of the brand. And it's funny, too, because it possesses both parts of Transformers' origin, which is it has the Primus Unicron kind of thing, which is completely Marvel's origin, and then it has the Quintesson creates the Transformers origin story, all found in one, which is very fascinating. I'm more of a Primus Unicron origin than a Quintesson origin, but everyone has their own choice and flavor. But just I found that interesting too, that both of those were found in one product long before season 3, or because this script was being written in late '84, or the season 3's explanation, and then later on Simon Furman's issue, what was it, number 64, 65 of the Marvel books ongoing. With that origin story. So either way, hope that answers your question. Again, if you want to be part of the Patreon like Space Ghostal here and help support the podcast, ask a question, or just join the Discord, want to be part of the credits, just to help support all the craziness that we do here, the madness that is the Transformer brand, and the madness that is the Transformer Slag podcast on the educational level of the Transformer fandom. patreon.com/protoman, or check the pinned comment or the description below, and rock out with the robots in disguise.